I recently decided to upgrade my 27-inch monitor from AOC into something larger, and to be very frank, searching for a new monitor online nowadays is extremely challenging. So many options, so many different price points as well and features, but surprisingly I actually ended up on the Cooler Master GM34-CW. Surprisingly, this is their first foray into the monitor market, and I have to say I'm actually quite pleased with my purchase here. And yes, I actually bought this monitor outright for myself. And one of the good thing about this monitor is it's a curved VA panel. Surprisingly, a curved VA panel really is great in terms of the color reproduction, and this being a curved panel, it really makes you editing video or documents a lot easier because you don't have to turn your neck around too much looking on left or right. The color reproduction on the VA panel is superb. I had to say this again, but I don't think my camera captures the vibrancy of the colors of the monitor because the monitor is really bright as well, and that's the other thing that I would need to talk about as well. For those of you who want a very bright monitor, this guy is able to really pump up the dial to 11 on brightness. This monitor, being a 34-inch, also takes up a big real estate space as well, so do make sure you have a large desk enough to fit the monitor. Now, in terms of the refresh rate, it has a 144 Hz refresh rate, so if you have a high performing GPU, that will be really pleasant to the eyes. But for me, I actually love to have an ultrawide monitor, and the reason why I bought this monitor is because I like to work and also watch YouTube at the same time. So usually I will have two screens open side by side. As you can see here, from a 34-inch perspective, you actually do have a lot of real estate, so it is actually quite comfortable to watch YouTube on one side, at the same time editing a PowerPoint or an Excel file, Word document. The monitor itself comes with plenty of input options, so you won't have to worry about having the latest DisplayPort 1.4 options. And one thing that was actually quite pleasant was the cast iron aluminum stand. It is actually quite sturdy, and it offers quite a lot of functionalities in terms of height adjustments and also tilting 15 degrees on the left or on the right. The base itself is actually quite cool because the base is actually shaped into the Cooler Master logo, so you can actually put in your keys or whatever that you want, but that is a cool space that you have for the Cooler Master base GM34-CW. I'm not going to give a in-depth technical review because, to be frank, I don't have all the right tools, but I will actually point you to Tom's Hardware website where they've done a very detailed technical review, and they've actually given this monitor an editor's choice, which is one of the reasons why I bought this monitor in the first place. Now, coming in at 3,000 ringgit, you might think that wow, it is actually quite a pricey monitor, but to be very frank, when you start shopping for monitors beyond the 32 and 34-inch size, when you compare in terms of the size, the panel they use, the features and the function, you really can't get anything better than this bang for buck in the market right now. If you want something similar, it will probably cost you an additional 1 to 2,000 ringgit out in the market, and trust me, I've tried to look for something similar next to the Cooler Master GM34-CW. You definitely can't get something as good as this out in the market, not with the high refresh rate or the vibrant, realistic color reproduction out in the market. For me, what would be the negatives or nitpick? Well, I think definitely in terms of nitpick, I really dislike how the backlight is fixed. So the backlight, you can't change the colors, you can't change the brightness of it, so it's kind of pointless to have it. But this being a gaming monitor, maybe that's why they put it in there. And secondly, the standby light. When you turn off your monitor and PCs, the standby light on the GM34-CW continues to blink onto the flat surface below it, so it's kind of annoying, especially in a darkened room where you can see the very bright standby light on the monitor itself. And lastly, for me, having a monitor at this size, because it doesn't support any VESA mount, not as far as I recall, you will probably be very hard pressed to find a display stand that will be able to support a monitor at this size. So my previous old trusty Kensington display stand only supports up to 27-inch. I am not going to risk putting my 34-inch monitor on a small display stand from Kensington for now. So all in all, I have to say having used this monitor for the last month plus so far, I've actually had enjoyed my time with it because the color reproduction is really good. I have no eye fatigue because the refresh rate is actually quite good, and this being a curved monitor, it really helped me, especially in video editing. But for those of you who are wondering whether this will be a good monitor for gaming, console gaming, and even for your work, I seriously can't recommend this enough. If you're looking for something at a 34-inch size monitor, this is really one of the best value market product out there in the market right now. So highly recommend getting this. And for those of you who are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you are using something else at the moment and you're thinking of upgrading, do let us know what are the next monitor that you're planning to upgrade to. So thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe to Awesome Toys TV for all the latest tech news and toys and collectible reviews and news.